Hi, and welcome to Limitlessly Digital. This is the newest episode of the podcast. And today, if you're watching this, you're probably about the same age as me. Without giving away my age, although I'm not ashamed of it, I grew up in the 80s. Remember the times when you came in by the street lights coming on, and when there were only 4 channels on the TV? I was used to this remote control. I was the one who was, Claire, can you go and change the channel? Because we had buttons on the telly. Anybody else remembering that? It's a fun time to remember. And right now, there's a trend for our generation. And I want to know if you are sensing this or whether you are doing this as well. But more importantly, if you have a business, if you are trying to grow your business this year and attract your audience who are of a similar age to us, you might want to pay attention. I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago now, and I've obviously forgotten which one it was, but it went something along the lines of this. I like to watch content. I just don't want to feel hijacked by it. By that, I mean, I don't want my time to be hijacked by it. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours doom scrolling because I know that that is wasting my time. And I am completely guilty of that too. There is nothing more than I like going to bed early and spending half an hour just scrolling and catching up on things. I do enjoy it. It's the way our minds have been trained. I get that. However, there has been a shift recently, and I know that personally, I have felt that shift, and I want to know if you've felt it too. For years now, more than 10 years, we have been saying video is king of the content because it gets more people's attention. People resonate with you, who you are, how you sound, the content that you're putting out there, the information you know, the wisdom that you're sharing, all of it. That's what makes you unique. And when you show up on video, and even more importantly now in 2026, it's authentic. This isn't an AI created video. I would have a better background if it were. For those of you who don't know me, it's winter. And in the winter, I move out of my conservatory where my office is, and I come under the stairs like Harry Potter. So that's why I'm in this rather small area right now, feeling a little bit constrained. But I do understand that showing up on video is how I'm going to make a connection with you and other people. That's how I'm going to get found. There's a shift for our generation and the younger generation now to go more old school or retro. A lot of the younger generation are now, I was going to say rediscovering, but they're probably discovering record players, video recorders, the old phones where you couldn't do any of the internet stuff on it, you know, when you had Snake and that was it. The old phone, the old mobile phones, these are all now coming back into fashion. And whilst I'm not sure that I would go down that path again, I understand why people are feeling the need for it. They're feeling the need for connection, true connection. And I think people are recognizing that doing this loses people's attention very, very quickly. So I know my habits have changed. My habits have definitely changed in the last year to 18 months. When I'm on my dog walk, I obviously don't have my phone in my hand and I'm not scrolling like this while I'm on my dog walk. No. And I don't see many people who do, although I do see a lot of people with their head down in their phones, but they don't seem to be scrolling. They seem to be watching something. But what I do on my dog walk, I have one earpod in and I'm listening to something that is keeping me company on my walk. I do I do the same when I'm in the shower. I listen to something or I watch something on YouTube that's keeping my attention, something that we would classify as long form content. And this is what this video is. It's not a video that I'm going to put on TikTok so that people can scroll. This is a video that I'm going to leave here. It is long form content. It might keep somebody company on their dog walk whilst they're gardening or whilst they're in the shower. Have you transitioned into this too? There'll be podcasts that you look forward to listening to on certain days of the week, and you'll tune into them every week because they keep you company. Now, please don't misunderstand me. This is not me saying that short form video is dead. It is not dead by any way, or means or forms. Short form content is great for discovery, for quick inspiration, for getting seen, for being consistent and putting things out there. Short form content is not going anywhere. But if there's one thing that I can convince you to do, that's probably, if I can invite you to do, consider doing this year, is longer form videos. And there's so many reasons why. One, you can put this on YouTube. It's free for you to do that. YouTube is owned by Google. So if you get everything else right on that video, and there are lots of things you can do to make sure your video gets out there, there's lots of optimization you can do. If you're not sure how to do that, get in touch. If you're not sure what to do or how to put it out there, and you can always optimize it later. But after you've done that, you can then chop this longer form video up into smaller sections that you can use elsewhere. So to confirm, I am Gen X, and Gen Xers and boomers, so that's the generation before me, generally spend longer on one piece of content rather than consuming lots of little bits of content. And I don't think that this is our attention spans collapsing yet. I think it's just us evolving in how we want to spend our time and how we want to consume content. Around 90% of Gen Z, that's the generation after me, and millennials are regularly watching short form content. And I believe that most of that time is spent on TikTok, because I do love TikTok, although I'm not in that generation. If you haven't discovered it yet, I do encourage you to go and have a look over there, because you will be inspired and you'll see people doing videos in different ways. Instagram Reels too, and Facebook Shorts, and even YouTube Shorts. Did you know that YouTube Shorts actually outperformed TikTok videos last year, the short form content? That's a statistic and a half. If you're not embracing the short form content from your long form content, consider doing that. If you don't know how, get in touch. Now, what the short form content videos are, and I'm talking about, the ones that are like under 3 minutes long, the ones that you can flick on by, they are great for discoverability. If people have never seen you before and they resonate with that first video that they see, chances are that they're going to follow you. What short form content doesn't allow is the depth of conversation. It doesn't allow people to get to know the real you, what you're about, what you stand for, all of those things. That's where this long form type of video comes in. Gen Z are also showing an interest in calmer, more intentional digital content. The experiences that they're having, they don't want that adrenaline hit all of the time. Whereas millennials, which may include some of you who are watching this, they tend to sit in the middle between the Gen Xers and the Gen Zs. They like both. They like the scrolling for the dopamine hit, but they also want the depth of conversation, the depth of learning that they can get from watching your longer videos. So I don't think that this is the year that short form video disappears, that it dies. Not at all. That's not what I'm saying, and I hope I've made that clear. I think it's the year that we decide how we're going to consume the content and in what form we're going to consume the content. There's also, and I don't know if you've seen this, there's a shift of people moving over to places like Substack, because written content is also coming back, but it's got to be authentic. You might want to think that AI is changing the way that we do marketing in one aspect for the negative, because it's now called AI slop. When you read a piece of content and it looks the same as somebody else's bit of copy, and you think, you can tell by reading it, we don't talk like that. So why are you writing a post that reads like that? If you are using AI, use it to generate ideas. Form the skeleton, the framework of what you're wanting to put out there, but then please be authentic in how you're showing up with the words that you're using, with the sentences that you're writing. I think as well, with the longer form content, be that written or video, it allows people to live their lives whilst learning, whilst staying connected, whilst keeping informed. I can be doing the cleaning with my AirPods in. I can be doing the hoovering with my AirPods in. I can still be getting on with life whilst I'm listening, whilst I'm learning, whilst I'm being inspired and motivated. think about how you can be in people's ears by doing the same thing. And I think the real bonus of doing long form content is that it does allow you to be in more places at the same time, because there are platforms that you can snip up your long form content, you can transcribe your long form content. In fact, here's a workflow. Make a long form video, have it transcribed, turn that into an email to drive people back to watch your video. Post your video on a blog, post your video on YouTube, post your long form videos in the places that you have platforms. Snip that long form video up into shorts, into reels, into TikToks, and schedule it out. You could get a month's worth of content from doing one long form video. And then you're staying in people's ears, you're being consistent, you're showing up. I know I make that sound very easy, and truth be told, it's not that tricky once you know the systems and you've got the workflow in place. So let me know if you have shifted your attention to longer form content like I have. Let me know. Also, drop below like a podcast that you follow that you enjoy, or a YouTube channel that you follow and enjoy, something that's opening your mind, expanding your horizons, anything. I love to discover new content myself. I like to see how people are doing things. But also, if this has inspired you to start thinking about showing up on video like this and posting it out there, being seen, being visible, which I know, again, might not feel like the most natural thing to do, but you've got to start somewhere. Okay, see you soon. Bye.